Hey, my friends! Ready to draw a beautiful, famous face from a cool new angle? Grab one pencil and a paper and draw with me. Don't skip. And give the video a like if you're excited. Let's go! Okay, let's not overthink it. Just drop a clean circle right here in the upper half of your sketch page. Like you're about to draw a smiley face. But trust me, it's about to turn into something way cooler. All right, now for the fun part. We're gonna drop 3 little marks. One up here near the hairline, one down here around the nose, and one off to the right where the eyebrow ends. All right, real quick before we jump to the next step, I just want to remind you that I made a full portrait drawing course just for you guys, from absolute basics to drawing realistic faces, shading, and facial features. And yeah, it's on discount right now. If you've been thinking about leveling up your drawing game, check the link down in the description. And also pinned in the top comment. Go take a look, grab it while it's still on sale. Now, connect the dots. But not with a triangle, we're not in math class. Think of a soft oval shape. This is the skull cavity, aka the real estate for everything that makes a face. A face. Now inside that oval, draw a line from the end of the eyebrow down to the top of the ear. It kind of slices the oval in half diagonally. Then just carry that same line across from one brow to the other. And boom, that's your eyebrow line and the top of the ear, all in one shot. Nice and simple. So we've got our horizontal guide across the eyebrows. Now let's add the vertical one. This is the center line. It runs through the middle of everything, between the brows, down the nose, through the lips, all the way to the chin. But here's the thing, it's not a perfectly straight line. Since the head is a sphere, that line curves with the shape of the skull. See how it bends slightly at the top and gently down the face? That's what gives the face its form and helps us place all the features accurately. Remember those little points we placed earlier? Let's use them now. From the top point of the oval, draw a horizontal line. That's going to be your hairline. Then from the bottom of the oval, draw another horizontal line. That's where the nose ends. Now, how do we find the chin? That's the tricky part, right? Here's the trick. The distance between the brow line and the nose line, it's the same as the distance from the nose to the chin. Just repeat that same space and boom, you've got your chin line. Easy. Now, let's close up the skull shape. See that oval we built earlier? From the start of the ear area, drop a slanted line down. Just like this. Then curve it gently toward the chin on the left side. That gives us a left jawline. Now on the right, use the outer edge of the big circle, follow it down, and connect it to the chin. And just like that, the skull is done. The foundation is ready. Now let's move on to the fun part, building the inner features. Let's go. All right, before we move into the facial features, let's give this head some support. Draw 2 soft lines coming down from the sides. Those are the necklines. Then close it off at the bottom to suggest the shoulders and overall head tilt. Just like that, the portrait starts to feel grounded. You can already see the angle coming to life. See those blue lines on the reference? Those 2 tilted lines starting from the edge of the eyebrow? They mark the eye socket. So from the end of the brow, drop 2 slanted lines inward and connect them gently underneath, right where the bottom of the eye would be. Now check out that long, curved blue line. It starts from the top of the ear, flows over the cheek, and lands all the way down at the chin. What's that for? It gives you the exact width of the mouth. Yep. As soon as you place that curve, the mouth's position falls into place. No more guessing, no more lopsided smiles. Pretty cool, right? And just like we always do, the ear fits right where the oval shape crosses the horizontal and vertical guides. That little intersection gives you the perfect spot to place the ear. Nice and easy. All right, friends, now's a good time to grab your eraser and lightly fade out those construction lines. Just soften them a bit before we dive into the facial features. Now we're placing all the key features. Start with a small circle to mark the tip of the nose, right in the center. Then for the right eye, draw a narrow oval, since we're seeing it at an angle. The left eye is more visible, so go ahead and draw a full oval shape there. Next, mark the corners of the mouth. Use that blue curved line we drew earlier as your guide. Once that's set, you can add 2 gentle curves to suggest the upper and lower lips. And there we go. The face is fully mapped out. Now we're ready to jump into the real fun. Let's bring these features to life with line and shading.
All right, friends, let's get this nose down. First, drop a small circle just beside the tip marker. That's the side of the nose we see. Next, between those 2 circles, draw the nostril opening. Fill it in lightly so it reads as a soft shadow. Now, over on the right circle, trace the curve of the nose tip. Match its bend exactly so it feels natural. Once the tip shape is locked in, add a touch of shading underneath to anchor it. Then, draw the long bridge line rising up toward the brow. Keep its thickness consistent to control the nose width. Finally, add some subtle shadows along the left side of the bridge and under the nostril to give it volume. And there you have it! Nose complete with just a few simple, solid steps.
All right, let's move on to the mouth, but first, did you spot that guideline dropping from the nose? That's your secret weapon. Start with that straight drop as your anchor, and everything else will fall into place. Next, lightly sketch the upper lip line. Keep it sharp, but gentle, like you're tracing a whisper. Feel that little crest? That's where the light will catch. Now for the lower lip, match that curve from right to left. Think of it as a soft smile waiting to happen. Add a few delicate strokes on both lips to suggest fullness, and lean into that crease between them. That's your character's signature expression. Don't forget the tiny dip under the lower lip. It's a small touch, but it makes the mouth pop with realism. Trust me, these little details bring your portrait to life.
All right, friends. Now that we've wrapped up the nose and mouth, let's polish that jawline. On the right side, gently refine the curve to emphasize the cheekbone, then smooth the lower edge as it sweeps toward the chin. Over on the left, follow that long jawline with subtle tweaks. These small adjustments give your portrait solid structure, so take a moment to get those shapes just right. Once the jaw feels rock solid, we're ready to move on to the remaining features. Stay sharp, and let's nail this next part.
All right, now that the lower structure and hairline are set, let's move up to the brows. Eyebrows always sit right on that horizontal guide we drew at the start. Since we're at an angle, the right brow is foreshortened, so keep it small and compact. And it sits just a hair higher than the left. The left brow, though, shows its full form, sweeping across nicely. Once your brows are in place, let's lock in the ear details. Follow the outer shape, then add the inner folds. Those gentle curves and little notches give the ear its realistic depth. It's all about light touches here. Keep it simple, and you'll nail it.
All right, friends, let's tackle the hair. I decided to start right above the ear. That spot is key for framing the face. From there, sketch the main long locks flowing toward the left. Don't worry about every single strand, just map out the big shapes. Next, follow the shoulder line where the hair drapes over. It creates that solid anchor at the bottom. Then, move up to define the top hairline and the outer boundary on the left side. Now you've outlined the entire hair mass. Inside that boundary, draw the essential strand groups. Some curved, some straighter, just enough to suggest volume without overcomplicating things. Finally, add a few fine wisps along the edges for that artistic flair. That's your signature touch. Let the artist in you shine. And just like that, the hair is done. Okay, friends, eyes are everything. If the eyes go off, the whole portrait suffers. Let's nail this step by step. First, lightly draw a straight horizontal line just below the eyebrow crease. That's your guide for the eyelid bulk. Over on the right eye, sketch that little mound of skin above the lid. Add gentle shading right under it to suggest volume. Now, directly beneath that bulk, draw the upper eyelid line, matching its curve exactly. Repeat on the left side. Same shape, same flow. Next, add the lower eyelid line on both eyes, and softly shade the small fold beneath it on each side. This is where the eye looks alive, so keep your strokes light and confident. Once the lids are in place, mark the 2 circles for the eyeballs. Position them carefully, because shifting them even slightly changes the gaze. Shade the iris with a blunt pencil, leaving a clean white spot for the catchlight. It's the spark that makes eyes look real. Now the lashes. Draw individual lashes following the curvature of the lid. Don't overcrowd.
Vary length and direction for a natural look. Tip: flick your wrist gently for smooth, tapered strokes. Finally, reinforce the shadows in the inner and outer corners to ground the eye in the socket. And there you have it, a realistic eye full of life.
And that's it, friends. We've wrapped up drawing today's portrait. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I read every single one. And don't forget, the full course I created to take you from zero to Portrait Pro is still on sale. You'll find the link in the description and pinned in the top comment. Stay tuned for our next video. Happy drawing, my artist friends!